everybody. Tonight, our Global Visionary Award, our final Global Visionary Award goes to Tuny and Dave Page. Now, this is a very special award for me because I saved the best for last. Tuny and Dave Page have been in Wellington for almost 20 years, and they are really the first people to have started a farm in Wellington that brought in all of the top riders and trainers under one roof for the first time. They also were really the first people to be the first founding sponsors of Global Dressage. But way before that, they were instrumental in helping out the Jim Brandon Center with footing, with advice, with everything that they could do to support the sport of dressage. And of course, because our wonderful Tuny over here is a professional, there's always behind a very strong woman, in keeping with our tradition, is a loving man or husband behind her in wonderful Dave. So to Dave and Tuny Page, I present the Global Visionary Award.
Thank you, Carol.
It's my pleasure. So, tell us, you two, what brought you to Wellington in the first place?
Well, Dave needed to be within 30 minutes of an airport. That was number one. And we were living north of Boston, but I was lucky enough in those days, early on, to still be getting invited to go to Europe. And Dave, after a while, said, okay, why do we live in Boston when we're only here for a month in the spring and a month in the fall? Is it just to have the wine and the mail go somewhere? So we finally decided, plus when Charlotte was born, we needed to sort of decide a place to really call home, and we decided Wellington was it. So,
and we're so happy that you have decided that Wellington was it.
We love it here. We do love it here.
Not only have they been so instrumental in the sport of dressage, really, I would say that they're the first family, but they are also incredibly philanthropic. Dave is highly known for, of course, his wines, but I know that they've had their finger in every single thing. I shouldn't say their finger, I should say their pocketbook. And in every single, philanthropic, everything that's gone on in Wellington. Of course, Vince Ramos, that we all know, and has been dear to both of your hearts. Yeah. So we have to thank you. And how do you see Wellington evolving? From where it came to where it is today and where it's going.
Well, first of all, I want to say that, not to go off your question, but leading into it, you know me, I'll run along here. I feel like we're surrounded by visionaries here. I really do feel that. We're surrounded by visionaries, and we're really lucky to be able to be part of that group, in all honesty. And the true visionaries were 30 years ago, who were managing in what was honestly the Everglades, and they forged, dressage competition in South Florida on that, and we now really stand on their shoulders. And I think that if they ever dreamt that it would come to this place, they would have never woken up from the dream. So I do really feel that you were the first person to build a really genuine, serious, beautiful stable in town, and having been at your barn for 2 or 3 years, just after you'd sold it, I was like, okay, then we've got to go on our own.
And on their own, they did.
But as far as all the philanthropic things, I have to say we both feel like we're incredibly blessed by families and friends that, we make a phone call. We've called you many times. I mean, think of it. And said, we want to do this thing. We want you to be involved. And people stand up and say, okay, we're going. And you've dug deep for us many, many times, and we don't forget that. And there's many, many people who've done that. And God knows Dave may have been responsible for the, absence of sobriety, let's say that, at several events.
Yay, Dave!
I consider myself an enabler. And the only thing I would add is that one of my favorite lines is behind every successful man stands the woman that made it necessary.
Proud and honored, I must
Yes.
say. Proud and honored. No, thank you, Carol, very,
thank
very
you.
much.
Well,
It's a great,
thank you.
It's a great concept, and we're lucky.
Well, we're lucky to have you both, and we're so proud that you're here, and so happy that you've carried on the tradition and been the movers and shakers in our little quaint village.
Yeah.
That's it from Wellington and Global Dressage.